Function with Purpose Podcast. All things health, wellness, fitness, and education through the physical therapy perspective. I am Dr. Amy Bullock, owner and founder of Fortress Physical Therapy. Fortress PT is here to serve the Charlotte metro area by highlighting the importance of how and why physical therapy should be a part of your health and wellness lifestyle. Here we go. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 4 of the Function with Purpose podcast. Dr. Amy here with you guys today on this lovely day. Thanks for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Also, just a reminder, not only do these podcasts come out on your favorite podcast app, i.e. iTunes, Google Play, but they are also uploaded onto the Fortress Physical Therapy YouTube channel. So you can check it out there too. Unfortunately, it does not have my face on there, but you can still listen while you drive through the YouTube channel. So just know that, just in case if your apps are goofing up. But anywho, a quick tidbit topic. Just kind of wanted to, I guess, give my 2 cents to. But today's topic is what do wraps, sleeves, and straps really do for the body? So I'm talking like wrist wraps, elbow sleeves or elbow straps, to knee sleeves and knee straps. Primarily, those are probably the main joints of the body that you will see these wraps, sleeves, or straps to. So in all, if you've been listening in the past, and you know, are kind of like a nerd like myself, when a joint, i.e. primarily elbow, knee, ankle, and wrist, undergo heavy load, or perhaps maybe it feels unstable for some reason, adding compression, a wrap or a sleeve, compression sleeve, to that joint actually creates a nice compressive and stable environment. And our joints overall love compression, because when there's compression, that means the structures around it, primarily the ligaments, tendons, and muscles, have to create static or isometric stability. So in turn, you know, you might kind of reference this or picture a person who is doing a back squat or a deadlift. They're picking up from the floor, or back squatting, going into a deep squat. They have a lifting belt on, kind of the same deal. The belt or sleeve in that specified area or the joint creates compression. Compression our joints love. Therefore, we're able to lift or maneuver that specified weight or perform that specific movement with better ease, which then in turn, if we are rehabbing or maneuvering around an injury or a niggle to a specified area of the body, it helps create a psychological improvement that, hey, you know, I can still train around this injury or discomfort and not miss out on my fitness. So compression sleeves are nice, especially into the wrist, elbow, and the knee. Also, another reason that I typically will vouch for compression sleeves is definitely someone who maybe is a post-operative, for example, a knee meniscus repair or an ACL repair. That, again, that compression is going to reinforce stability into the joint. Additionally, it can help with swelling into that specified joint. So that's when I'll kind of vouch for that. Flipping to a different aspect, or I guess straps, very commonly, perhaps in the sport of tennis or basketball. So we'll use tennis for an example. You'll see maybe like a forearm strap that's near the elbow, but it's on like the lower portion of the forearm. And typically it's on their dominant hand, where the tennis player does a lot of backhanding hitting the ball over the net. So a lot of this whipping of this wrist extension, which actually those extensor muscles on the forearm connect to the outside of the elbow. So the tendinopathy or tendinitis can very commonly develop in tennis players. So by putting a strap around that area of the forearm, the strap actually changes the origin point of the surrounding musculature. So instead of the origin point being more close to where it needs to be on the bone, you put the strap or compression strap slightly below that area, and you shorten the origin point, which then in turn helps create less tension or less repetitiveness on that aspect of the origin or the tendon in the forearm. So essentially you're using physics. It's like changing a flat tire on your car, right? When you're trying to unscrew those nuts or bolts of the hubcap, you want a long lever, right? Because long lever means less energy or output by you. But if your lever is shorter, you got to put more oomph behind it. So in turn, you're changing the origin point of the muscles that are in question, right? So that's commonly what you'll see with a forearm strap. So in a way, that will help benefit the patient to get back to hitting backhanding again, and eventually over time develop that capacity by utilizing a forearm strap. Now flip it again to the other side. Basketball players, prime example, or they commonly suffer jumper's knee. So that's kind of right below the kneecap where that little tendon is in front. That's called the patellar tendon. And very quite often that patellar tendon can become irritated and inflamed. So athletes, in this case basketball players, will put a Velcro strap onto that tendon. It's the same concept as if a tennis player was using a forearm strap. You're changing the force distribution of that tendon in the knee. So then in turn, that tendon can tolerate load. So using straps specifically, very commonly on the outside of the elbow and on the patellar tendon of the knee, can be very advantageous. Now, I will say from the physical therapy perspective, I think and I believe that wraps, sleeves, and straps have their time and place. I do believe that we should not 100% rely on these and continue to use these. But I will vouch for wraps, sleeves, and straps when there might be some heavy dosing of reps, meaning you're working at 90% or higher of your 1 rep max deadlift, right? Then I would be like, okay, in fact, I just did that today. I worked up to about 90% of my deadlift and had to do 3 reps at 225. That's pretty good for my chicken legs. So I utilized a weightlifting belt so I can build pressure into my abs and distribute the force equally through my legs to develop tension so I can pull that weight up from the floor. Same deal, I think, with knees, knee sleeves, or knee wraps, that if you are getting into that 90% or higher of your lift, maybe it's a shoulder press, right? And your elbows and wrists are like, I don't know about this. Heck yeah. Add those wraps, add those compression sleeves. That will definitely help out. Same thing goes for straps. I think early in the rehab process that utilizing a forearm strap, if someone has elbow tendonitis developing, that to be able to tolerate activities of daily living, maybe it's lifting their coffee mug, right? But not a lot of that repetitive movement just yet. So I think utilizing straps early in the rehab process is very advantageous as well. So hopefully that gives you some perspective, what wraps, sleeves, and straps actually really do, right? Our joints love compression. Compression creates a stable environment. A stable environment helps us do more work with confidence, right? Straps, i.e. a forearm strap or the patellar tendon strap, those actually change the insertion point of the tendon, which then in turn is a part of the healing process, especially early in the rehab. So that way tolerance can build over time, and then you won't have to rely on those straps anymore. So if this sounds like you, maybe kind of utilize that. Reach out to a physio nearby, or reach out to me. I'm very active on Instagram. Drop a question like, hey, Dr. Amy, I wonder, do you think knee sleeves might help me with my squatting, especially when I work into those high percentages? Because it just doesn't feel right when I feel like I can't push up out of the squat. So drop a question. I will be happy to answer. And if it might sound like you might need to see a physio near where you live, I can definitely help out with that. So, what do wraps, straps, and sleeves do? They provide a change in the insertion or origin points, especially straps. And wraps and sleeves help create compression around our joints, which they love. That's a wrap for today's episode, Function with Purpose Podcast. For more information on this episode, please check out the show notes within your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, or drop your comments and questions below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks for the listen. Pursuit, precision, purpose.